My name is Alicia, and in this week's live lesson, we are going to talk about 6 vocabulary study tips. I created a list of some ways that you can work on your vocabulary and build your vocabulary and apply new words and actually remember them. This is an extremely common question that I get from you, and so today we're going to again look at some things that you can do to work on your vocabulary. So I hope that everyone can find something in today's lesson that will give them an idea for how to improve their existing study structure. So as you join, please make sure to hit the like button and share this video so that other people can find today's lesson. That would be super helpful and super cool. While we wait though, a couple of very quick announcements. First and foremost is about this banner at the bottom of the screen. So this says, get your free welcome pack. So here there is this welcome pack that the team has put together. You can find it if you click the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube, or above the video if you're watching on Facebook. You will find this page. So it says welcome pack. That means if you come to our lessons, if you come to take our lessons, you can now download kind of this welcome set of PDF documents that you can use to begin, to get started with your studies. So on this page, you'll find some previews of the things inside. So you'll get some writing worksheets, some conversation practice stuff. You'll find some basic phrases to help you get started and some basic grammar. You'll find culture and so much more. So check this out if you want to get started with us and get one nice package, one nice little pack to get you started as our little welcome gift. So check this out if you want to. So you can find the link for this below the video if you're watching on YouTube, or above the video if you're watching on Facebook. Get that there. That's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2 is, as always, if you have questions for me, please send them to me, but please send them to this website, englishclass101.com/ask-Alicia. This is an old screenshot from this series. But if you have questions about vocabulary, questions about grammar, about, I don't know, something weird you saw in a movie, or an interesting thing that you read somewhere, some idiom or something like that, send it to me. You can find the link for this in the YouTube description below the video if you're watching on YouTube. Or if you are not watching on YouTube, just send it to me at englishclass101.com/ask-Alicia. If you send it to me there, I will definitely read your question. If you do not send it to me there, I will probably miss your question. There are too many places to send comments. I cannot catch them all on Facebook and YouTube. There are too many videos. So please send them to the official question submission page. Don't send it on Instagram. Don't send it on Twitter. Don't send it on, I don't even know where people send it, but don't send it there. Please send it to the official question submission page. Okay? All right, that is it for our announcements. It looks like everything is rolling okay. Hi, I see Facebook and I see YouTube. Welcome, everybody. Looks okay. Facebook, hi, Facebook. Faye and Gerald and Soup, hi, and Nelson, hello. Carlos from Peru, welcome. Okay, YouTube, you are also here. Attitudes, hello, good morning. Jonathan, hello. Ta-san, hi. Binde, hi. Elvin, hi. Alicia, how are you? I am good. Okay. Everything is great. So let's get to today's lesson. If you missed it, today's lesson is about vocabulary study tips. We're going to look at 6 tips. I created a list of 6 ideas that I hope can help you as you work on improving your vocabulary. So if you haven't, please make sure to like and share the video. I'm going to do it now. Like and share. Okay, cool. I'm done. So let's get to today's topic now. I'll show you today's lesson boards. If you want to take a screenshot, now is your first chance. Here it is. So we're going to look at 6, I picked 6 topics for today. We're going to look at 6 different things, 6 different concepts to think about to help you to improve your vocabulary and to help you to remember vocabulary words longer. So what should you do? We're going to talk about this today. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, first topic is the most important thing. I talk about this all the time on this channel, and I'm going to talk about it again. The first thing is review, review, review. I cannot say it enough. Review. Review is so important for grammar points, for listening exercises, for your spoken practice sessions. Review is so important for learning anything, just about anything I can think of. Review is important. It's true for language, it's true for vocabulary as well. So review. So that means study words multiple times. Multiple means more than once, yeah? So don't look at a new word one time and think, okay, I'll remember this forever. No, you need to look at it multiple times, more than once. So study vocabulary words multiple times, over many days, over many weeks and months, and so on. Okay? And second review point is review with different skills. So what do I mean by that? I mean, when you review, when you study something, again, use a different skill to do the review. So use your speaking skills, your reading skills, your writing skills, your listening skills. So for example, if you read a new word on your flashcard, you can write a sentence to practice with a different skill. So today's lesson is going to focus a lot on how to do this part, how to review with different skills. Okay, so this is the focus for today's lesson, but this is the most important concept I want you all to remember, and this is something we all have to remember too for anything that we want to practice. Okay, review. All right, okay, I'm gonna look for your questions in the chat that are related to today's lesson. Some people are already sending questions that are different from today's lesson, something totally different. Send them to me for Ask Alicia. The link is in the YouTube description, yeah? Okay, so second point I want to talk about flashcards. So flashcards are very, very popular and helpful, I think, for many people. A helpful way to study vocabulary words, right? Flashcards. So we can use physical flashcards, like writing on a piece of paper, and of course digital flashcards are also popular now on computer, our smartphone, and so on. So let's talk about some important points for flashcard study with vocabulary. So first, again, just as I said with review, study consistently. So consistent study with flashcards is extremely important. So for example, when I say, consistently. Consistently means you do it regularly. You have a schedule. It means you don't just sit down and study for 5 minutes when you feel like it, like once a month. Make sure you have a regular flashcard study schedule if you use flashcards. So you can do this daily, twice a day. That was the best. I've talked about it on this channel a lot, but my vocabulary really went up when I studied. I had a digital flashcard app. I did 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening on my way to and from work, and my vocabulary went like this, like way up, like slowly, but it went way up. So this is personally my favorite, every morning and every evening. Maybe that's too much for you, so you do 3 times a week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 30-minute session. I don't know, or whatever, etc. So study consistently, study regularly. You always have a study schedule for your flashcards. That's the key here. Okay, so this is point 1. Point 2, try digital flashcards with a spaced repetition system. Try digital flashcards with a spaced repetition system. So digital flashcards, I mean flashcards on your computer or on your mobile phone or tablet or whatever. And a spaced repetition system. I've talked about it here and there on this channel, but a spaced repetition system, this means a flashcard program or a flashcard app that inside the app, there's a program that knows which words are difficult for you and which words are easy for you. So it looks at your answers to the flashcards and it shows you the difficult words more. So it remembers which words you need to study, and it gives you time to refresh your brain between study sessions. So this spaced repetition system means there's spaces, some time breaks, between those hard words and the new words too. So these systems are designed to help you study more efficiently. So you can find, we have spaced repetition flashcards at EnglishClass101.com if you are a member there. If you're not, you can go try them out. And there are, of course, other spaced repetition systems around the internet. There are probably lots. Maybe I don't even know about some of them. But spaced repetition flashcards can be super helpful and help you to study, like I said, more efficiently. Okay? Then the next one, as I mentioned in part 1 about reviewing with different skills, I said reviewing with different skills is really important, yeah? So here's something you can do. Try saying your answers out loud. So try saying speaking your answers. So I know when we study with flashcards on an app or with like written flashcards, we tend to read, right? We read the answer and we think the answer in our head. But another thing you can do is try saying your answers out loud so that you practice the speaking skill, okay? So make sure to create, try saying your own answers out loud so that you practice other skills too, okay? Next one is create your own flashcard decks according to the topic you need to study. So I'll say it one more time. Create your own flashcard decks according to the topic you need to study. So this means flashcard decks. So flashcard deck. So we use this word, a deck, for a group of cards, playing cards, yeah? So a flashcard deck is a group of flashcards. So a flashcard deck is something you can create if you have a specific topic you want to study. So you can make, in other words, your own flashcards. Make them for yourself. Maybe make a group, like 50 words that are really hard for you, or 50 very specific words for your life. So you can create your own, even digital flashcards, to practice new words. Okay? So these are tips for flashcard study. But again, so important to study consistently. If you're going to use flashcards, make sure that you are consistent with them because review is very, very important. Okay? All right, so if you guys have any recommendations or other tips, you can send them in the chat so your online classmates can get some ideas. Okay? Awesome. So let's take one quick break and then we'll go to part 3 and 4 for today's lesson. I'm looking for your questions. Some people are asking about specific apps. I personally have not used, I think most of those apps. Some people are sharing about some things, but I don't know. So I haven't used all the apps. So check them out and you can let us know how they work for you. Okay? All right, so let's take a super quick break. So if you missed it before, there is a welcome pack. I'm pointing to this banner at the bottom of the screen. The team created a welcome pack for EnglishClass101.com learners. I showed this earlier. I will show it again. So this welcome pack is at the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube or above the video if you're watching on Facebook. So the idea here is it's kind of a starter pack. So if you want to just start learning really quickly, these are some things that will help you to do that. So the pack includes some writing practice, some conversational phrases, you'll get some culture points, you'll get some grammar notes, and so on. So basically something to help you to get started if you want to begin learning with us. So check this out. This is free. This is totally free. So you can find this from the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube or above the video if you're watching on Facebook. You need your name and your email address, and you can get this for free. So check this out, yeah? Okay, let's go on to part 2 for today. If you haven't, please, please, please make sure to hit the like button and share this video. It helps us with the algorithm so other people can find today's lesson. Okay, I'm looking for your questions and your comments. Yeah, some people are sharing some topics, some like apps and things like that. Someone mentioned Anki. Yeah, I've used Anki before, but not for a very long time. I don't know what it looks like now. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for other topics. Let's see. If you have questions about other topics, please send them topics that are different from today's lesson. Please make sure to send them to the Ask Alicia question page. There's a link for this in the YouTube description. englishclass101.com/ask-Alicia. I cannot answer all the questions in the world during every live stream. Okay, let's go. Let's go to part 3 and part 4. So the next topic I want to look at is news, articles, books, newspapers. So basically, I want to focus in part 3 on how we can use written material, written resources, other than textbooks, to practice our vocabulary. What can we do here? Lots of you ask me about using books and so on. So let's look at some tips. So first, write down new words when you find them. Write down new words when you find them. So maybe you have a notebook, like a English study notebook or language study notebook. So write down those new words when you find them in your text. And generally, my recommendation is don't stop reading. Like, if you stop every single time you find a new word, you lose the flow, right, of the information. So it's important to think about the flow of the information. You can check the word later. So search for the words in a dictionary or ask your teacher about them, or both. So this means after this step. So the flow here is kind of like you're reading the article, you're reading the book, you find the new word, oh, okay, write down the word. And then after you finish reading, search for the words in a dictionary or Google the words, see what you can find. And then if it's still not clear, or if you have a teacher or a tutor, ask your teacher about them. So that gives you an opportunity to use the word in a conversation, right? So look them up afterwards. So I don't recommend stopping every single time you find a new word, but make a list and review the list, check the meaning, and then go back and read it again. This is one of my favorite things to do. It helps, it's review, you learn the new words, you get to look at the information again. It's such a good practice, I think. It's a good type of practice, okay? All right, and then the next point I have here is to create new sentences and questions with the words. So if you have a teacher, if you're talking with your teacher about the book or about the article or the newspaper, whatever, you can create new sentences and questions using those new words you learned. So to give an example of this, I was in a lesson, the Japanese lesson, a couple weeks ago. I had questions about some new words. So I looked up the words I looked them up on Google, but I couldn't find an answer for some of my questions. So I asked my teacher about the word, and she told me, she gave me some information, she gave me an explanation, and then later in the lesson, I tried to use that word again in the conversation. And I did it correctly, she told me. So this is it's all coming together, yeah? So new word comes in, we think about the word, we try to find information about it, ask questions about it, get that information, and then we use it, right? So it's constantly working on putting that information into us so we can correctly make it come out of us, right? Okay, so use this, you can use this for written materials. How can you study vocabulary with books and articles and newspapers and things? Zat says, after you finish reading the whole newspaper, you mean? It depends on your level. So I don't mean you should read the whole newspaper and then talk to your teacher. No, maybe you read a short article in the newspaper, or maybe you read the whole newspaper and you have a discussion about that with your teacher. It's up to you and your study style and what you are studying now. Let's see. I'm not going to talk about these grammar points today. Okay, lots of questions are coming in that are different from today's lesson topic. So again, send them to Ask Alicia. All right, let's go to number 4 then. Let's go to number 4. So I just hinted at it here, but tip number 4 is to use new words in your lessons. Use new words in your lessons. I saw students do this when I was teaching group lessons years ago. The students that were really successful, they really made an effort to use new words in their lessons. They had notes written in their textbook and in their notebooks about the words, they'd practice writing sentences, and they were prepared in the lesson to ask me questions and to use the new words in their lesson. So this is a key. Use the new words in your lesson. Don't be afraid of the new words, okay? So use the new vocabulary from your textbook during your lesson, if you have a lesson. If you don't have a lesson, if you use like digital learning materials, you can still do some of the same things, yeah? So work to use those new words. So you can do this in conversation practice in your lessons. You can ask questions, you can write a sentence, and so on. So make sure when you get that new word, you start to use it. A lesson is a great place to do this because you can ask your teacher pronunciation questions. So if you're not sure about the pronunciation of a word, you can go to an online dictionary. So just Google online dictionary, or just Google the word too. There's a button, there's a little circle button with a speaker icon. You can click it and hear the pronunciation. So it's really easy to check pronunciation. But if you're still not sure, you can ask your teacher pronunciation questions in your class. Okay? And you can also ask your teacher about when to use new words. So if you find a new word and you're still not sure when to use it or what the difference is between this other word, that's when you can ask your teacher. I did this actually in the same lesson I was talking about earlier. This word was very similar to another word I knew, so I asked my teacher, what's the difference between this word and that word? And she explained that to me. So I had to ask her or spend a lot of time Googling maybe. But use new words in your lessons. That's your chance to ask your teacher things, to get the information you need. So make sure to use your lesson as best as you can. Okay, all right, I'm looking for other things. Okay, I don't see any other questions that are related to the lesson. No questions related to the lesson today. All right, so these are points number 3 and 4 for today. So how to use written materials and using your lesson time effectively. Okay, awesome. Let's take one more super quick break. Time is always going quickly. And then we'll go to points 5 and 6 for today. So if you missed it, there is a free welcome pack from the team. You can find this from the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube, or above the video if you're watching on Facebook. The team created a lot of different downloadable things to help you get started with your studies. You can find culture points and practice, like writing practice points. You can find grammar points. You will find conversational phrases you can use. So check the link below the video or above the video and you will find this page. So if you don't have an account, you can create an account for free and get this and get started quickly. So check this out if you want to learn with us with our video and audio lessons. Okie dokie, let's go to the last part for today. The last part for today, 5 and 6, let's continue on. Also, if you haven't, please make sure to hit the like button and share this video so that other people can find today's lesson. Okay, let's go to the last points for today. Point number 5 and number 6. This one. Number 5 is don't avoid weak spots. Don't avoid weak spots. What does this mean? This means when you find vocabulary that is difficult for you, give it extra time. So I know it feels bad when something is difficult for us to do or something is difficult for us to change, right? We find something, we're like, oh, this is really hard for me, or I feel uncomfortable with this. So don't avoid. So to avoid means you try to escape. You try to go away from that thing. But that's not going to help you in the long term, right? So just give it a little extra time. Remember, making mistakes is okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay if you say the wrong word. It's okay if you feel frustrated or like, you feel challenged. Just give it some extra time. So maybe, for example, you find like business vocabulary, some business meeting vocabulary, and it's really difficult for you to remember all the best phrases and the correct responses. And that's okay. That's totally normal and totally natural. So just give it some extra time. That means give it some extra effort. So remember, if you take a little extra time now, you can fix your future weak spots. So here's the deal. If you avoid all those weak points, if you avoid the things that are hard or uncomfortable for you right now, then in the future, those are still going to be hard and uncomfortable for you, right? You're not going to magically improve by doing nothing, yeah? So take some time now, and then in the future, this won't be a problem. So take a little extra time, give it a little extra time and a little extra effort. Make sure you fix that now, and then you don't have to worry in the future. You will review, of course, right? You'll review, but you don't have to worry about that in the future, right? You don't have to be super nervous in the future when you come into that situation again. Okay, all right. Then the last point for today. I've hinted at this many times, but this is kind of the conclusion for today's lesson. It's create with your new words. Make sure to create things. Don't just input. So you can make jokes and songs and rhymes like we do with kids' songs, right? To help us to remember things. This is okay to do for grammar and vocabulary. These are all great things you can do to help you remember. If you have a silly rhyme to help you remember a word, great. That's fantastic. Other things you can do. You can create social media posts with the new information. You can write a journal or a diary entry with the new words you're learning. Maybe you give a presentation or something in your class, whatever. Make sure you are creating things with the new words. The key here, practice output, not just input. What does this mean? Output means you are practicing making things with those new words. Yep, you're speaking, you are writing. Don't just input. We do a lot of input, yeah? We watch YouTube videos like this. We watch YouTube videos and we read our flashcards and we read our books, but we have to also output, yeah? So make sure you are practicing both. Okay, cool. Whoosh. That is it for today. Those are tips 5 and 6. So don't avoid your weak spots. Don't avoid your weak spots. And 6, make sure you create with your new things. Okay? All right. So Alberta says, I try to avoid your lessons, but I can't do it. That sounds strange, actually. I try to avoid your lessons. Sounds like the lesson is like it's bad or it makes you uncomfortable in some way. Yeah? So that's kind of an odd sentence. I think I know what you mean, but be careful with that. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for your questions. Someone says, so singing is output. Singing can definitely be a type of output. Yeah, okay. People, how do I remember nouns and verbs? This whole lesson was just about vocabulary. So if you missed the lesson, check it out. You can watch it all back. So this whole lesson was about how to remember vocabulary words. So that includes the part of speech. Yeah. So let's wrap it up because I'm out of time for today. Phew, that was a lot of information. If you missed it, here are today's lesson boards so you can take a screenshot. So we talked about these 6 points today. We talked, of course, about reviewing, making sure to review. We talked about how to use flashcards effectively. Number 3, we talked about using books, articles, newspapers, written materials. Number 4, we talked about using words in your lessons. 5, we said don't avoid your weak spots. Go and give them some extra love. And number 6 is to make sure you create with those new words that you are learning. Okay, so these are the tips for this week on vocabulary study. I hope that you got some good ideas and you remembered to review. That's I always talk about reviewing. It's so important. All right, I have to finish today's lesson, but I'll be back next week. Next week's lesson information is here. Next week, oh my gosh, it's already April. Can you believe it? Next week, I'll be back on Wednesday, April 6th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know your local time, please use your amazing Google skills and check it out there. Also, you can also set a reminder on Facebook or on YouTube. You can set a notification notification. Or if you follow me on Instagram, I always post a topic reminder and a link in my Instagram stories. You can find the link to my Instagram and my Twitter in the YouTube description. So come follow me there if you want to get that reminder. Next week, I'm going to talk about how to talk about recent news. How do you discuss this? How do you share your questions and opinions? This will be the focus for next week's lesson. So please join me again next time. Okay, I have to say goodbye for this week, but thank you as always for your great questions. Thank you for your ideas and for participating and for joining me live. If you haven't also, please, you should definitely check out the free welcome pack I mentioned from the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube, or above the video if you're watching on Facebook. But I'll say goodbye for today. So thanks again for liking